on over, we can make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light. Oh, so come on over, we can make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light. Oh, the morning light. Oh, I just wanna be your Superman. Come fly with me, just take my hand. And now that we are cruising in mid-flight, you better watch out for that kryptonite. So come on over, we can make it through, make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do, just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night, we're dancing. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light. Oh, so come on over, we can make it through, make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do, what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light. Oh. As we look up at the stars in the sky, did we ever stop and wondered why we let our love shine all through the night? Just you and me, babe, until the morning light, the morning. Come on over, we can make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do, just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night, keep dancing. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light. The morning light. Baby, you're out of sight. On the beat, keep dancing through the night, we're dancing through the night. We stay up until the morning, stay up until the morning light.
Good evening, everybody, or well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. It is Sunday, January 3rd, and on this week's edition of Sunday Sofatime Rewind Live, we're going to be revisiting my day on the Harmony of the Seas when we were in St. Thomas, and I sliced open the bottom of my foot and ended up in the medical center on the cruise ship getting stitches. As always, before we get to that actual thing, and I'm not going to wait too much longer because this is a pretty long video that we're going to be watching together today. But let me, say hello to some people who are here and just tell you a few other little bits of info before we really get started. So it makes me so happy when I start this thing, and I've learned that like best practices are. In order to avoid that sort of awkward moment at the beginning of a lot of live streams where people are like, is this working? Is there anybody here? Let me know if you're here. Let me know if you can hear me. That's why I put just like that, always a pretty picture up and play that song that I really, really like, because it gives time for everything to sort of get rolling. You know what I mean? And it just always makes me happy when I see that people show up like from the very first moment. And then there's just people in the comments here, Perry, Queetbeat, Robert, Martina, Yvette, Tom, Andreas, Linda, all these people who were already here before I even basically got started, just talking about travel stuff, trading ideas about cruising plans and things like that. And I I'm so happy that I can provide you all with those connections. You know what I mean? Melissa Huff says, "It is my first live I've ever seen. Hello." Well, hello, Melissa. Thanks for coming. Um, Carrie writes, "It is a good, fun song." Yeah, I really love that song. It makes me so happy. Uh, oh, hey, it's Rob's birthday. Rob, happy birthday. So excited for this live stream with you. It's my birthday. Thank you for celebrating it with me. Well, I have just some water. So cheers, Rob. Happy birthday to you. It was my sister's birthday yesterday. All right, just a little follow up from last week. Last week, I mentioned that our fur baby, Chili, our cat. Oh, do I still have a picture over here? Yeah, I do. This is Chili. That she, yeah, she had a little. She played a little bit rough and broke her tooth, and that she's got some surgery coming up. And I said that any live chats and super stickers or whatever they're called, or from that video, are going to be going to like her medical expenses, because it's going to be kind of expensive. And thank you all so much for all of you who donated, because we raised, or you donated, over 100 euros after all the, excuse me, YouTube deducts a percentage of it, and in the end it was still over $100. So thank you so much for that. It's going to just make it a little bit easier to have her get this stuff done that she needs to get done. Speaking of, yeah, surgery, medical procedures, and things like that, the video we're going to watch today is about 15 minutes long, and it's actually the second part of a video that I made. What is it now? It's probably been 4 or 5 years ago. I was on the Harmony of the Seas, which at the time was the largest cruise ship in the world. I can't do the sound effects on here, obviously, but I'm sure you can imagine it, right? And one of the places that I was literally the most excited to visit was Magens Bay, and it's on St. Thomas, so in the Virgin Islands. And I had read several reports about this being like the most beautiful beach, and also one that maybe not a lot of people decide to go to, like maybe not the most popular, but definitely the most beautiful. Anyways, one thing that every report said was there are hidden rocks in the sand underwater, so it's a good idea to bring water shoes. And so I went out, I actually went to the sporting goods store and bought water shoes specifically for my visit to Magens Bay, and then I left them in the ship. Yeah, and I realized it when I got to the bay, and then I just figured, okay, well, you know, I had to take a taxi there, and you know, I just thought, okay, by the time I get back in the taxi, get back to the ship, check back into the ship, get back up to my cabin, get the water shoes, and do everything in reverse again, the day is going to be half over anyway. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna risk it and go swimming, hang out in the water without water shoes. And I thought, I'm going to be really careful, and literally the first thing I did was step on a sharp rock. And so all that had happened in part 1, and where we're going to jump in now is actually part 2 of this whole experience. So let's just say hello to a couple more people. Oh, so many people saying happy birthday to Rob. Happy birthday again, Rob. Hello, Liam. Thanks for coming. Oh, wait. Why didn't that work? There you go. Hey, nice to see you here again, too, LJ. Hey, Adam. Queetbeat wants to know, next week, cocktail for sure. Any suggestions? Cosmopolitan, margarita. I think those are the two that I enjoy the most. NGG23 writes, I remember that video. I felt so bad for you. Well, you know, there was a big pity party going on in my head too. I was so disappointed. Anyways, let's get onto it. And I'm just excited to watch this again with all of you. So here we go. Anesthesia sounds expensive. Mother. If you're squeamish, don't watch the next few seconds. This is why I wish I had those puffing water shoes with me, because I just stepped on a rock. And now, of course, I'm trying to assess my, what would you say, my luck, my health here. Should I just walk it off? Should I go back to the ship? This is not how I wanted to spend my day. See this? This is my blood. I've been sitting here for about 5 minutes, and this is how much it's been bleeding already. So I guess I'm going back to the ship. Okay. Already, like, I watched that and I'm like, ooh. I remember at first just thinking, you know, it's just a little scratch, and it'll be fine. But then I sat down there on those rocks. I was over at the side because I wanted to get like a sweeping recording of the entire beach, and so that's why I was sitting over there on those rocks. And then the more I sat there and saw how much blood was coming out of it, and then I really like was kind of like playing with the skin around it, and it was deep. It was like, you know what I mean? There was like a flap. Sorry if this is grossing anybody out, but it was like a flap, and there was meat on it. You know, it wasn't just like superficial. It was deep. And so, yeah, I looked at how much skin was like injured and how much blood was coming out of it. And I thought, you know, I can't stay here. I need to get this looked at. And it looked, and it looked better, or it looked, it looked too intense to just like put a Band-Aid on it. Andrea says, better stay in the water and wait for the sharks. I honestly did think of that. I thought, you know, sharks are supposed to be able to smell blood from like miles away. And I thought, am I putting everybody at this beach here in danger because I'm having an open wound? Yeah. I have to be honest about it, though, because some people are saying here that must have been a horrible place to get hurt, having to walk on it gives me shivers. To be honest, it didn't really hurt. So like if this is the bottom of my foot, it was like kind of like here. And I don't know if there's just not nerves there or what, but it didn't really hurt. But knowing it was there kind of freaked me out. You know what I mean? So let's continue the video now, and give me a second because I want to try to do picture in picture so you can see me at the same time. So I'm going to start it and then pause it and then try to get my picture in there too. Okay, so hold on just a second. All right, I know there's a way. I've done this before. Okay, here I am. All right, let's continue.
I'll wait till the morning. I'll fight this alone.
I'm back in the cabin, and things are not going as expected. I mean, that's an understatement. But what I mean is, I thought, okay, I'm gonna go back to the ship, have the doctor look at it. Maybe he'll just put one of those big, like, waterproof Band-Aids on it. Maybe I'll need some stitches. I don't know. At least I'll know that I'm okay and that I don't need to worry about this. So I got a taxi back to the ship, come on the ship, go to the medical center, and the doctor is gone. He's not gonna be here, or she is not gonna be here until 4. And it's now, I don't know, it's now like 1. So I guess I should have just stayed at the beach, because if I've got a wounded, untreated foot at the beach or a wounded, untreated foot on the ship, what difference does it make? But I'm not gonna go back now. I went into the shower and rinsed it off really good. I spread it out as much as I could without puking or passing out, and sprayed lots of water in there, but I know that when I go to the doctor later, I'm sure he's gonna do it again. Very true. So I'm not the best person. You all know I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian, or I eat vegetarian, and I get grossed I do kind of get grossed out by like blood and stuff like that. And somehow it's gotten worse the older I get, even when it's my own body. And I knew, I could see there was so much sand in there, and I thought, the more of it I get out myself, the worse it's, or the less bad it's going to be when I get to the actual doctor. And here's a thing that was a big discussion in the comments when I first posted that video, and that is, how could there be no doctor on the cruise ship? Isn't that irresponsible? But the thing is, we were in port, we were on land, so technically, what what I could have done is just gone to like urgent care there on St. Thomas and have them take care of it. And that's something that I didn't think about until I was already back on the ship and realized that the doctor wasn't there, and then went through the whole process in my head of, why is there not a doctor here? And it's because, I could just go to a doctor on land, basically. And I don't know if I end up talking about that in the video, but I know that that was a big topic in the discussion back then. Yeah, at least I'm not going to get more sand in it. Yeah. Wow, you look so... I was just was so disappointed, and I was mad at myself because it was basically all my fault. I bought the shoes and I just didn't bring them with me. And that's probably one of the most disappointing things that has ever happened to me while traveling. And like, there have been times on other trips and in other videos where I've been like really frustrated and really disappointed about things. But I think this actual event, is probably the most intense out of all of them. You know what I mean? This, compared to other things that I've gotten pissed off about, the other things are so minimal compared to this, is what I mean. So if any of you are just showing up, thanks for coming. First of all, what we're doing now is we are rewinding. We're watching a video of mine that I haven't seen in probably 5 years, and it's about the time where I cut open my foot while on a cruise on the Harmony of the Seas. We're in St. Thomas, the beautiful Magens Bay. I stepped on a rock, cut open my foot, and I have taken a taxi back to the ship. Blood is dripping out of my foot. I go to the medical center, and the doctor is not there. So let's continue. And now what? This is very frustrating.
Then cross this leg and exactly like that. Fantastic. All right.
Okay.
So let's see. Did you bleed a lot?
Yeah, in the beginning it bled a lot,
All right.
but then it stopped.
All right. Do you feel a burning sensation there?
No,
it was
it
a
doesn't
rock.
hurt
It was
at
not
all.
a coral or something like that, no?
It was a rock, and I wouldn't have noticed that it was even like that, but I felt the skin moving.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. He was poking and
Let's do
prodding.
it in the ER better. Here it's not the best place, and I don't have the tools, so I'm going to ask you to put, if you want, just your sock, and then I'm
Okay.
going to pass you to the ER and check you there, because most probably we will need to clean it up there, right?
Okay.
So,
It seems like a normal doctor's office down here, and this examination room I'm in now is probably bigger than my cabin. And it seems very trustworthy and serious. Then again, this is one of the newest cruise ships. By the way, she explained to me when I was getting checked in that it's gonna cost, I could choose to see a nurse or the doctor. The nurse would have been able to just clean it, but if it needs stitches or anything like that, that would have to be the doctor. I decided to see the doctor. It was going to cost, I think, $70 to see the nurse, and I think it's $130 to see the doctor, and that's not including then whatever he decides has to be done. So it's not money I was planning to spend, but it's not like a ridiculously huge amount, at least not yet. Okay, so coming up, so I'm trying to piece together the memories. I waited there for a little while. There were other people also waiting when he finally showed up. There was somebody who I think was having like big problems, because I could hear some commotion happening like behind the scenes when I showed up. And like I said in the video then, it looked and seemed just like a normal doctor's office, just inside the ship. And I had no idea what it was going to cost, and I don't know if in this video I say how much I ended up paying for it all in the end. But if I don't, remind me, somebody ask me, and then I will tell you when it's all over. Martina says, I'm with you. I would be afraid by the time I find a clinic and the doctor sees me, I would be afraid to miss the ship, especially as I'm traveling alone. Yeah, that is a very good point, because there was then a moment where I thought, okay, well, why don't I get right back off the ship, go to some doctor's office, maybe they will like immediately be able to see me and be like, don't worry about it. And then I can just skedaddle back to the beach and enjoy my day. But then I thought, what if I end up, spending, like 4 hours there and not getting seen, and then, and then have spent the whole time there and then just have to go back to the ship anyways, you know what I mean? Other people were running like, oh, don't go to a doctor in a foreign country. And I was like, it's St. Thomas. I'm not like in the middle of the jungle someplace, or, like in some, Amazonian village or something like that. I was on St. Thomas. So to me, that was absolutely not a factor that I was worried about. Perry says, I wonder if the new CDC requirements for medical staffing includes 24/7 availability even while in port. I don't know. Good idea. Yvette says, does your travel insurance cover the cost? I had travel insurance through my credit card, but for some reason, in the end, it didn't work out, and I honestly can't remember why now. Jane says, we always have extra emergency money because I had an incident on our first cruise too. Oh, well, if you want to share with us what your incident was, then we can talk about that too. And actually, I think that I've already done a Sofatime about this kind of stuff years ago, where people wrote in about like the worst drama that has personally happened to them on cruises. And there's been people who've had to have helicopters, like had their parents taken off of the ship on helicopters, or people who have been left behind and had no luggage and had no documents and things like that. So let's continue. And by the way, coming up, you're going to see the actual stitches. And I remember he asked me, we can do it without anesthesia or with anesthesia. And what he meant was he was going to give me shots of Novocaine. And I opted for the shots of the Novocaine. And let me tell you something, it did nothing. The walking on the foot didn't hurt at all. But as soon as he started like poking in there to get the sand out and started stitching it up, I could feel everything. The shot of Novocaine he gave me in my foot did nothing. So let's continue. Get ready to see me scream. And by the way, I remember now, I don't think that there has ever been a sustained period of adrenaline that I've experienced in my life, a longer sustained period of adrenaline than these few hours. And when I finally got back up to my cabin and it was taken care of, I was exhausted. So let's get going. Let's continue here. I'm a little nervous now when I see all that.
Don't sit there, don't look. Don't worry. Just gonna take a look, all right?
Yeah.
Just very quickly. No, to help me with this, because I don't think so, but it may need stitches, so let's see. Very quickly. If it needs stitches, we'll prepare everything, okay? But I do not think so, so let me just quickly see.
You still in something?
A rock.
And a rock in the ocean.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cold.
In the first
A little bit, sir.
20 minutes I was in the ocean. Ow, 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 ow.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, well, it's very superficial, it's just the skin. I'm not going to stitch you, but I need to clean very well inside. And
Yeah.
I think it's not worth it to put anesthesia because the anesthesia will need to poke you, and the poke hurts more than what I want to do. The
Okay.
problem is that you have a lot of sand there in the wound, and if I don't take it out, probably some lidocaine gel. I'm gonna use just gel too.
Yeah,
If I don't take it out, it can create something that is called a granuloma.
Yes.
Sand can get encapsulated and it's gonna give
Oh,
you
I look
problems
so
later.
worried.
It may burn a little bit, but not that bad. It's lidocaine, okay?
Yeah, please do whatever you have to do, and I'll try to be quiet and
Sure, don't worry. You can shout,
I was
you can
so,
scream, you can curse, but you cannot move.
like, the adrenaline in my system
Alright,
was so strong.
Sorry, it hurts, but let's give it
Like
30
sweat,
seconds to
wet.
get
My
full
whole
effect.
back was wet. My knee pits totally
Just a little
wet
sand
with
on.
sweat.
I'm gonna hurt you if I do it too much. I need to put the anesthesia better.
Okay.
Pass me the 3 cc syringe and 23 or 25G just to numb the area, and then I will need to clean it very, very well, alright?
Anesthesia sounds expensive.
You want me to do it without?
No, it's okay.
I can do it now. Well, local anesthesia is just
Yeah.
small bottle, right?
Okay, I have to stop looking.
Just don't look. You're getting dizzy?
Sorry?
Don't look. If you're getting dizzy, let me know, but breathe deeply
Yeah.
and slowly, okay? Pass me also a pink one. Don't look now, okay?
Yeah.
I'm really gonna faint. On the count of 3, please do not move. 1,
Okay.
2, 3. Sorry about that.
Dabbing.
I'm trying not to move.
Dabbing a needle into my foot.
Now you're gonna feel a burn sensation, alright? That's it.
That's all?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll give it a few minutes just to take the effect. A few seconds, Henry.
Yeah.
I was trying to concentrate
Dios
so
mío.
hard on just
Modo.
breathing.
What to do. Remember, the anesthesia is to take away pain, not sensation. You will still feel I'm working there and cleaning the area, but you
Yeah.
should not feel pain. Still feel pain, you let me know, alright?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Sorry.
It doesn't really hurt, but I could just
Yeah.
feel what you're doing, and my mind is
Yeah.
telling me that it should hurt.
It did hurt though.
I'm gonna put one stitch now that we have numbed the area just to secure the skin. Probably
You know,
that skin
as I
flap
watch this again,
eventually
hold on,
will fall.
let me pause it. As I watch this again, I realize more and more that like I totally trusted him as a doctor, and I feel like he did a good job. But like at first, it's like, oh, it's gonna be fine, and there's not even really any sand in it. And then it's like, okay, there's a lot of sand in it, but we don't need to do stitches. And then it's like, okay, I'm just gonna do one stitch, and then in the end, it turned out to be 3 or 4 stitches actually. Let's continue.
It's an area, nylon for 3 zeros. It's an area of pressure, and the skin flap. It's already without irrigation, so no blood flow is going to come. But I'm going to close it just to make sure that the inner part of the red part of your foot, the dermis, doesn't get exposed and you don't feel pain, and it doesn't get infected, all right? So now you're not going to feel this stitch, okay? Cross me.
Okay. Ooh, ooh,
Feel
ooh.
pain?
Yes, I do.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Almost gone. Almost gone. There it is. Sorry. That's
Yeah.
it. What are you doing after your cruise? You're going back home?
Yeah.
Alright, this stitch needs to be removed in 10 days from now. So today is, I think, Wednesday, no?
Mm-hmm.
So the next week, Saturday, okay?
Okay.
One more, sir. I'm sorry. 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 That's it.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting uncomfortable again just watching it.
I thought one, but no.
I almost
Okay.
feel like
Yeah.
I can remember the pain, but what I remember, the thing I remember
We should take
the
a
most,
look.
hold on, I'll
Do
stop
your
it again.
wound-
The thing I remember the most is just being so full of like fear sweat, you know, like scared sweat, and just feeling so, I don't know, like weak and fragile somehow. I don't know. I don't know if it was because of the adrenaline or because of all the tense. Robin and Steve, that's the perfect word. I was so tense.
Daily basis without further charges.
Okay.
The dressing, how much is the charge? Nola, do you remember?
Oh, there it is.
Racing supplies about 35 and maybe
Nice little piece of bacon sewed onto my foot there.
At least come in 2 days and I'll take a look and I will not charge you anything. And we're gonna give you then 2 dressing supplies. In the meantime, just try to keep it dry. But if you get it wet, then I'm gonna give you some big band-aids just to put there, clean very well with soap and water, some antibiotic ointment and the plaster, okay?
Okay, so no going in the pool, no going in the ocean.
Until a couple of days that I see you now. After 2 days probably yes, but it's the end of the cruise, so I'll see you not tomorrow, the day after, okay?
Okay.
Pass me one self-adherent and bandage, please.
Well, here I am back in the cabin. You saw most of everything that happened. The medical center was very well organized. I felt very well taken care of. I don't have the bill yet. That's coming later tonight, they said, or tomorrow morning. And I'm hoping that I can get some of the cost back from my insurance when I get back home. But usually in Germany you have to set up a special policy if you're going to be outside of the country, and I don't think I did that. The doctor said I can't get it wet for the next 10 days, so no water slides, no flow rider, no swimming in the ocean. And
I did
pretty
though.
disappointed about that.
I did.
It's, yeah, a lot of the things that I was really looking forward to, now I can't do it anymore. And now I think, okay, well, what am I gonna do? I mean,
Wait
I know
a
I'm
second.
complaining about
I totally forgot that I showed that. I mean, I know that I talked about it, but I didn't remember that I actually showed it. So let me try to go back here for a second. Where is it? Hold on.
And now I think, okay, well, what am I gonna do?
This is what I did. Do you see that? I put a condom around my foot. I went to the drugstore on the ship and bought a box of condoms, and that's my foot, and that's actually two condoms. So it's a waterproof Band-Aid, and then that like gauze, we call that sissy wrap. I don't know why, when I was a kid, and then 2 condoms. And I went to the beach and went swimming, and it did not get wet. That was a very good solution, actually. So let's continue here.
I mean, I know I'm complaining about silly things, but this is just really disappointing. It is like 5:30, so I guess I'll get myself all dressed up. Getting dressed up and getting fancy sometimes helps to make you feel better, so maybe that'll work for
That's
me.
true.
And then I'm gonna go down to the Bionic Bar and make a video about that, which will be coming sometime soon, or maybe even before this video.
Okay, I think we're getting close to the end of the video. This Bionic Bar is so cool, by the way. The whole ship is just amazing.
When you go to the buffet on a ship, or in Las Vegas, or wherever, do you walk around first and... running into people. Do you walk around first and get like a general idea of everything there is to eat before you decide what you want? Or do you just take the first thing you see that you want and then go back for more? I'm someone who I need to see everything there is first, and then I decide.
Ooh, that's some good looking salads there on the Harmony of the Seas. Oh, yeah, that's them rehearsing. And those are the dancing waiters at the burger restaurant. What's that place called again?
Of course, now that I'm limping, it becomes even more apparent and obvious how gigantic this ship is, and how far everything is from everything else. Advantage and disadvantage, I guess. Alright people, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Today was just one of those days, I guess. And I guess At the moment, I'm just thinking, well, someday I'll be back here again, and then I can go to Megan's Bay again, and I can remember
still
to
haven't
bring
been
my
back, though, not yet.
underwater shoes. Yeah. Tomorrow's video is going to be a much funner video than this one, I'm sure. At least, I hope it is for me and for you. If this is the first of my videos that you're watching, then please subscribe to me here on YouTube. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more fun travel-related videos like this from the Harmony of the Seas and other cruise ships. And, oh, look at this. That's the ocean. This is Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides, signing off. Bye-bye. And what is this? I got a goodie.
I have no idea what this is. Oh, that's right.
Look at that. Thank you, Royal Caribbean.
All right, so that's the end of the video. And this was one of the first cruises of the Harmony of the Seas in the United States. It was a brand new ship. I think it was only the second or maybe third voyage at all leaving Florida, and they still had tons of like the inauguration gifts. So I think every night I came back to my cabin, there was some goodie on the bed, and they gave me 2 of those like coffee drink things, and I gave them away. Like I way back then, I sent them to some of you. So if any of you have one, let me know. I can't remember who got those or what I did. Somebody was asking me, like I asked you to remind me, is how much did it then end up costing? So I had like an initial consultation, and then I had, they cleaned out the wound, which was difficult because they had to like really get in there with like saline solution and a scraper and get all the sand out of there. And then I had a shot of some kind of painkiller. I think Yvette was saying it was lidocaine or lanacaine or something like that. And then I ended up getting 3 stitches. And in the end, and actually I went back then a couple days later. They asked me to come back a couple days later for like a follow-up just to have a look at it. So I went back and did that again. And for those 2 appointments and all that, it cost me exactly $300. I'm pretty sure that that's what it costs. So $300 US. And of course, it's money I wasn't planning on spending. I would have rather not spent it. However, I know from a lot of you who live in North America, especially the United States, where it seems like some people do go to the doctor without any kind of insurance, that is like a normal kind of price. If you were to go to urgent care and end up with stitches, that's sort of a fair price, or maybe even a better price than just going to like an urgent care. So yeah, some people are saying here. Yeah. So that was the experience. And, I remember going to my doctor then back here in Hamburg to get the stitches taken out. And it kind of tickled. It was not painful at all. Although I think that kind of depends on where you get stitches. Those are the only kind of stitches I've ever had that needed to be taken out. All other kinds of stitches I've had have been the kind that have dissolved. So, yeah. That was a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I was ready to pay much more, actually. Steven says, if there was a whole lot of people that got food poisoning or something, the doctor would make a killing. Well, I think if it's something that the cruise line could sort of be held responsible for, like if these are all people who are eating on board and they got sick, I'm pretty sure the doctor wouldn't charge for that. You know what I mean? And if I had stepped on a piece of glass on the pool deck on the ship, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't charge me either. And in fact, that would be kind of weird. You know what I mean? We're at 40 minutes here, and I try to keep these live streams to less than an hour. But let me go through, and if there's any questions that you have about this video, about that cruise on Harmony of the Seas, or about anything else travel related, let's get to that right now after I take a sip of water. Bonnie says, I had travel insurance, had to see the ship doctor because I hurt my ribs on a shore excursion, still paid $100 for a tube of Bengay. Wow. That's some expensive Bengay. You know, on our transatlantic cruise on the Epic, the only transatlantic I've ever done, I bought some NyQuil or Dayquil or something, and it was also like $18 or something. And look at this, everybody. Wait, I pressed the wrong button. Here it is. Hold on. Super chat. Thank you, Ariana. Did you just get here? I didn't see you commenting earlier, so thanks for coming and thank you for that super chat. For anybody who is just showing up, we just finished watching my video where I ended up in the medical center on the Harmony of the Seas. So when we're done here, you can go back and watch the video again from the beginning. And for everybody who's watching this in the future, of course, I will link it in the card up here. Is it up here? And in the description below. So if you want to go back and watch the original video, but then you should probably watch it from the first part, the first part of it, so you can see the entire experience. Brandon and John want to know, how is Chili? She's doing good, and actually she let me look in her mouth today, and of course the tooth is still broken, but it looks like the first couple of days after it happened, it looked kind of red and bloody and swollen all around it, and it looks totally fine now, and she has no problem taking her pain medication, so she's going to be fine. Of course, it's going to be stressful when we take her there and then get it all taken care of, but she's going to be fine. You've been here from the start. You've been so quiet. I didn't see you in the comments. NGG23 was on the Harmony like a week before the pandemic went nuts. It was the first week of March. Wow. Just M asked me, if vaccination is required to travel, would you do it? Yes, I'm going to get the vaccination even if it's not required to travel. Which RCL ship has the best water slides? Well, Vanya, I can only speak for the ships that I've been on and actually experienced the water slides for Royal Caribbean. And because it's been a while since I've been on a Royal Caribbean ship, I think, wow, is the Harmony of the Seas the last Royal Caribbean ship I've cruised with? Or was it the Freedom of the Seas? Well, you know, okay, back to the question. I think that the Harmony of the Seas is actually the only Royal Caribbean ship I've been on with water slides, and I only got to do one of them, but the selection was really great. And since then, if you look at the water slides that have been added to, I think the Mariner and the Navigator, they look really good, but I haven't been on them since they were added. So sorry, I'm not an expert for that. Linda says it was probably less expensive than Chili's dental expenses will be. We'll see. Which NCL ship is my favorite? Well, I have a really hard time picking any kind of favorite anything. There are things that I really love about certain NCL ships and things that I think are like not so optimal about NCL ships, but altogether I prefer the bigger NCL ships. So like Getaway, Breakaway, Epic, that model of NCL ship they're pretty close to perfectly designed cruise ships with a few minor details that are all kind of a matter of taste. Look at this super chat. Thank you, Yvette. Thank you for, Yvette, I think you've been at every one of these live chats, haven't you? And to everybody else who comes here every week that we've done this, thank you so much. I have a really great time doing this. And like I said, the day seems to get slower and slower and slower until it's time to sit down here and press start. I just get so excited to do this. Jane C. writes, when do you think cruising will resume for the Caribbean? I have one booked to Alaska in August. Not really sure if that will happen. I really, really have no idea. I can only say that, oh my gosh, I hope it happens soon. I I really want to get back out there and create some more fun, entertaining videos also for you and learn some things that I can pass on to all of you. And one thing I've been thinking is that if cruising keeps getting postponed even further, that I want to do maybe some sailing on a sailboat, like on a real sailboat or a catamaran. It's an idea I've had for a while. It's something I've been getting actually really, really interested in and watching a lot of other YouTubers who either live on sailboats or who have been doing a lot of sailing. Something I'm really interested in, so I'm pretty sure that you can look forward to those kind of videos in 2021, even if cruising takes a little bit longer. Will I go on any mine shift again? Yes, I would have no problem going on a mine shift again. No problem at all. What countries would you like to visit in 2022? Well, I'm open to anything, basically, I guess. I think I would, I wouldn't mind visiting, well, there's two destinations that I'd really like to visit. One of them is Hong Kong Disneyland, and one of them is Disneyland Shanghai. So that's kind of in the pipeline. But as far as like exotic places, no plans at the moment. Oh, look at this. Thank you, Soren. Thank you, Soren. What cruise line do you prefer? If you should, if you should choose one of them, best regards from Soren and Mariana from Denmark. Hi, hello up to Denmark. We're neighbors. That's kind of like having to pick a favorite, and it's like people do write to me very often to say, what cruise line is the best cruise line for the Bahamas, or what cruise line is the best cruise line for a transatlantic? And I think it really, really depends on what it is you're interested in. Like some people really love to cruise with Carnival, and the atmosphere on Carnival is usually kind of like vibrant and high energy, and there's always some kind of activities going on, and the pool deck is always really crowded and loud and a big, like party atmosphere, and some people can't stand that. And then, like if you look at like Holland America, where they have, like really excellent cuisine and, art lectures about art and things like that. There are other people who love that, but then, the people from Carnival would be totally bored on Holland America, whereas the people from Holland America would be like, feel totally out of place on Carnival. So it's really a matter of taste. And I have no like one specific line that I like to cruise with. The only thing that I really like is I'm kind of still sort of an active person. So if there's a lot of fun activities like water slides and skydiving simulators and things like that, I would tend to prefer to cruise with a ship like that. So like Royal Caribbean and Norwegian Cruise Line and Carnival. And I tend to not cruise with, I haven't cruised with lines like Celebrity or P&O or Cunard, because even though I'm sure they have a lot of great things going for them as well, they're missing those sort of fun, exciting things. I hope that answers your question. Hey, Morgan. Nice to see you. I very rarely say Morgan, except for when I'm referring to myself. So, hey, Morgan. Are we still live? Yes, we are. Just M says, I hope you get to go on the sponsored river cruise soon. Would like to see your videos on that. Well, now that it's like winter, I don't think there's going to be any river cruises happening anyways. Do river cruises happen like in the middle of winter? I'm not sure, but I would love to do it too. Andrea says, transatlantic is easy. Only Queen Mary 2 is the real thing. Well, Queen Mary is something very, very special. And I have friends that I used to work with who have only done transatlantic cruises on the Queen Mary. They've never cruised any place else or with any other cruise line or any other itinerary. They only cruise to New York and back on the Queen Mary, and they love it. But like I said, there are no water slides. There are no, like silly fun things. You must dress up and wear something nice every night. Like there's no getting out of that unless you're just going to stay in your cabin. And that's definitely an experience that's not for everybody. You know what I mean? I'm a Royal Caribbean guy all the way. Well, good. I'm glad that works for you. Perry says, I am so not a typical Carnival customer. I booked on Carnival anyways because I thought it would be funny to torture myself. And hey, tacos, yeah. Carnival has, surprisingly enough, of all the cruises I did in 2020, Carnival had by far the best food. And I made a video about that as well. Van Woot wants to know which route has the calmest waters for cruising. I'm traveling with people who have motion sickness. Well, I think there's a lot of theories about this, but the bottom line is it depends on the weather. I mean, even if you're cruising someplace where typically the seas are known to be calm, if there's a storm, if there's wind, then the ship is going to be moving. But the bigger the ship, the more modern the ship, the less you will feel it moving. And like on my Grandiosa cruise, my most recent cruise just a couple months ago, I hardly ever felt the ship moving at all. There was only one single night of 7 nights cruising around the Mediterranean where I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. This is a moving ship. So I don't know if that helps you, but you may not feel the ship move at all. You may feel the ship move a little bit. And if you get into bad weather, you might feel it moving a lot. It can all happen, and there's literally no way to know in advance. Sorry, but that's the truth. Would you agree with me? Other people who've cruised as much as I have, would you agree with me? Bonnie, what do you think? Yvette says, I need freedom, so I would have trouble to have to pick dining times and dress up, hence choosing Mind Shift for my first. That's a really good point, Yvette. Sorry, I'm just kind of clicking through some comments here. This is funny. Barry says to me, dressing up means wearing the fleece pullover without cat hair on it. I'm an NCL gal. Yeah, this is a good advice from Connie to get a midship lower deck cabin for less motion. But of course, if you're going to be out and about on the ship and it's moving, you're going to feel it. Summer B says, love Mind Shift. Yeah, I was so surprised and I was so disappointed in myself for not cruising with Mind Shift earlier, just like when I did Carnival at the beginning of the year. After like the first day, I was like, I can't believe I waited this long to try this cruise line. And geez, I wish I had some of those tacos again. So yeah. Well, I'm going to wrap this up, everybody. Thank you all for coming, for spending this first Sunday of 2021, the year that has so much promise to it. Hopefully things are going to change and start getting better soon. And I hope that they get better for all of you really quickly. And and I look forward to seeing you again soon. I can't promise that we'll be doing this live again next week. I have some interesting things, some interesting concepts that I will be trying out. I don't know if it will be ready for next week yet, but you can look forward to them coming soon, sometime soon here on the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. And either way, there are still videos coming from the Grandiosa. There's some more cabin tours. There are some more food videos to see. So watch for those as well. Thanks everybody for coming. I'm going to sign off here, but I will be in the comments here, the live comments, for a couple more minutes before we finish tonight. So see you soon.